Hey guys, what's up? It's NT Forever, and today I am back with another dual boot video. Today we're going to be dual booting Windows 10 and Ubuntu 15.10. Now, if you're an older version of Windows, such as Windows 7, there's no need to worry, the procedure is virtually identical. However, if you would like a tutorial that is specifically designed for Windows 7, I have an older dual boot video you can go check out. Don't worry if it's using an older version of Windows. Or it's not, yeah, an older version of Windows and an older version of Ubuntu. It'll still work pretty much exactly the same. Alright, so not going to waste any time. I'm going to jump right in here. The very first thing you're going to want to do is download the Ubuntu ISO, and that can be found right here. There will be a link in the description. You have the option of Ubuntu 14.04.3 LTS or Ubuntu 15.10, and I'm going to be using 15.10 in this video. That is the latest release as of the day I am making this. Now over here you have these two options, 32-bit and 64-bit. 64-bit is selected by default. Typically you'll be fine going with 64-bit. Chances are your PC is 64-bit. However, if you would like to check that, you can go ahead, go to your Start menu, go to Settings, go to System, and go to About. And you can see here we have 64-bit operating system and x64 based processor. Now whatever this one is, that's the version you're going to want to get, and chances are, like I said, it is 64-bit, so you'll probably be just fine going with that. Alright, so once you've determined which operating system you want, you're going to go ahead and click download. Now, fair warning, there are ads here to donate to Ubuntu. Now, I personally don't do that, so you can just go not now, take me to the download, and give it a little while, and you'll see this pop up. You will notice that compared to older versions of Ubuntu, it is quite a small download, which is great to see, especially for those on metered internet connections or slow internet connections, which basically describes me. I've already downloaded this, so I'm not going to, but you would just click Save File and then OK, and it would begin to download. Now, the next thing you're going to want to do is go ahead and burn your media. Now, in this tutorial, I'm going to be using a USB flash drive. I have used CDs or DVDs in the past. I find flash drives to be the more popular option these days. However, if you would like to use a CD or DVD, I have a tutorial on that. That's in my older dual boot video, which again, I will link in the description. Alright, so the next thing you're going to need to download is the means to get Ubuntu on a USB stick, and you're going to want to download this from pendrivelinux.com, link in the description, and make sure you don't click any of the fake download links. You don't want those. It's this link right here. Maybe I'll even link to it directly, but if I don't, it's this right here, download UUI, and that'll download, and you'll run it, and you'll have to agree to this little license agreement thing. Just go ahead, click agree, and you'll end up at this screen. Let me go ahead and minimize Firefox here, just so it's more clear what I'm talking about. Alright, so you'll see this program here. The very first thing you're going to want to do is select your Linux distribution, and Ubuntu is conveniently right there at the top. Navigate to where your ISO is located. Mine is on my desktop. Click open, and it'll detect that. Now the next thing you're going to want to do is go ahead and select your flash drive. This is a very, very small ISO. However, I would still recommend having a flash drive of at least 2 gigabytes or higher, and I will also strongly advise for you to format drive E, as I have had compatibility issues when not doing that. So definitely format it. If you need to move things off the USB stick, do that. And you're going to go ahead and click Create, and it'll give you this warning, and you can just click Yes, and it will continue on its way. Now, while that's going, we're going to do a little something else, and that is we are going to create the partition Ubuntu is going to be installed in. Now, in order to access that, we're going to go ahead and search for Create and Format Hard Disk Partitions. Alright, and here we are in disk management, and what this is going to allow us to do is make some unallocated space on our hard disk for Ubuntu to go in. So what we're going to do is we're going to partition whatever drive you want to install Ubuntu on. In this video, I'll be using the same drive that Windows is installed on. However, if you have multiple hard drives in your PC, fear not, the procedure is exactly the same, or practically the same. So whatever hard drive you want to install Ubuntu on, just take this same action. So what you're going to do is right-click on the drive you want to install Ubuntu on the volume you want to install Ubuntu on, I should say. And go ahead and click Shrink Volume. Now, I should mention that even though I have done this countless times and have never, ever had any kind of data loss, it is still advisable for you to make backups of your data just in case something goes wrong. So you'll see here we have this thing that is enter the amount of space to shrink. Now this is how big you want your Ubuntu volume to be, and it is in megabytes. If you need some help converting between that, I will link a good megabytes to gigabytes converter for you. I wouldn't recommend using just the default one in Google because it does go in increments of 1,000 rather than what Windows uses, which is increments of 1024. So if you need to, figure out how big you want your partition to be in megabytes rather than gigabytes, I'll link something in the description. But I already know how big I want this to be. So I'm going to go ahead and click Shrink. Alright, so now that that is completed, you can see we have this unallocated space, and yours will be however big you made it. Now, we're going to just leave this alone. Don't format it, don't do anything with it, just leave it. And now, as far as the Windows side, we are done. And if you have not already, hopefully you did before you shrank your volume, but if you have not already, you should definitely go ahead and back up any critical data, just in case something goes awry. Right, so our media is burnt and our partition is made, and now it is time to boot into Ubuntu. Now, in order to do that, you are going to need to boot from the USB stick. Depending on your BIOS, this can be a little bit tricky. Unfortunately, I cannot offer specific advice. For my BIOS, to get into that, it's escape. For yours, it might be something different. So just, if you have to reboot a couple times, it's okay, but you're looking for something called a boot menu, or if not, if you don't have one, settings. You would select your USB stick, or your CD-ROM. You would select whatever media you're using in your BIOS and go ahead and press whatever key it requires. So here you have two options. You have try Ubuntu without installing or install Ubuntu. I know that I want to install Ubuntu, so I'm just going to go right to that, but if you did want to try it out, you could do that. And also, even before you partition, if you wanted to just get a feel for the operating system, you can boot this up and you don't have to install at all. It will just run from the... What are we angry about? Okay, so you will boot into an environment that will look something like this if you chose to install. If you chose to try Ubuntu, you would boot into the desktop. So we're going to go ahead, click Continue, and we meet these requirements, and I am going to do both of these things, as you should as well. You will notice that it requires at least 6.9 gigabytes of available drive space and an internet connection to install. So check both those and click Continue. And you can see here we have this option to install Ubuntu alongside Windows Boot Manager, and we do want to do that, so go ahead and click Install Now, and you can see here we'll make these two partitions. You want it to do that, go ahead, click Continue, and then it will begin installing. Now here it's going to ask you for your location. That is correct for me. Here it's going to ask you about your keyboard layout. This is also correct for me. You can change this if you need to, of course. My name, I'm going to put NT4, and I'll go ahead and fill this in. I'm going to select login automatically. You can select whichever one you like. And now you are done. You can just sit back and allow this to install. I'm not going to film this just because there's really no need. So I will join you guys back when the installation is finished. Alright, so our installation has finished and we're going to go ahead and restart. Alright, and you can see here we are greeted by the Grub bootloader. Now I'm going to go ahead and first boot into Windows just to make sure everything is okay on that front. Alright, so you can see that we have successfully booted back into Windows, and everything is alright. Now let's go ahead and reboot into Ubuntu. So you can see here Ubuntu is the first option, and we'll go ahead and boot that up. And as you can see, we can boot into Ubuntu as well. That's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you like it. If you have any problems or questions or anything like that, feel free to leave a comment, and me or hopefully someone else in the community will get back to you. Thank you guys so much for over 1,500 subscribers. That is amazing. You guys are wonderful. I will see you guys later. NT4 out.